Hello guys and welcome back to another skill point guide video for Total War Warhammer 3 on Immortal Empires. Today we'll be going over Boris Ursus. I really like Boris as a lord and his faction mechanics for Kislev, but man does his position suck on the campaign map. And because of that, it kind of dictates a little bit, especially with him no longer having the little groms that he used to have, and he just has straight up melee. The armored corsairs, yeah, I know they're hybrid, but they're really not that great for missile damage, in my opinion. They do a little bit, but yeah, I'm not too hyped about them. But anyway, going with his skill line, I do like to go down his blue line first and getting Root Marcher and Fervent. Unless you do a like moving campaign, I totally a migration campaign and get back down into the more Kislev territories. One, it's a really big risk, and if you don't do it, you're going to be spending a lot of time over here in the Chaos Waste, dealing with basically anything in any form of chaos coming at you in your campaign. So I really like to just, you know, once you actually conquer a settlement, being able to just get rid of that corruption as quickly as possible. You'll be able to do that as well with your patriarchs. And just, you know, that way it's 1, 2, maybe 3 turns at the max, and you are just getting rid of that corruption. That way you can actually utilize the territory up here in the Chaos Waste, because it's yellow territory for him as well instead of just red. So I do like to grab that. Now after that, I do like to come down his red line and buff up his Kossars. Kossars for any Kislev Legendary Lord are really useful. You really get the bang for the buck, basically. As long as they don't get stuck into melee, they're going to dish out a good amount of damage. You're going to be fighting against demons. A lot of them, you know, as long as they don't have are Chaos Warrior versions, the regular demons are going to have really low armor, so your Kossars are really going to have a lot of damage potential for you in your campaign there. But then after that, obviously, he buffs the absolute crap out of fighting against the Warriors of Chaos, and more importantly, he does a really good job of buffing some bear units. And not to mention, the War Bear Riders are just absolutely broken in auto-resolve. I did a video a few months back showcasing them going up against Artois, and then these 2 units getting like 750 kills in auto-resolve. It was just absolutely insane with taking like 2 losses. But even on the battle map, even though they won't perform that well for you, they are still very good. Really good anti-large unit. They got a good amount of speed for being on a bear, good amount of armor-piercing damage, just absolutely obliterate any large unit. So because of that, I do like to do the creatures of the lane, giving them more melee attack, more weapon strength, and finishing his red line, just coming out and doing the Ursun's Favored, giving them some more armor, melee defense, and spell resistance, and then standing your ground. Now, as you're going through your red line, there are a few special skills that I do like to grab. The big one is the Resettler for the growth plus 10 all provinces, but the big one is the no colonization cost faction-wide. That is huge because the Chaos factions and Warriors of Chaos love to raise settlements. So as you're kind of playing whack-a-mole up here in the Chaos Waste with Boris, if, again, as long as you don't do a migration campaign, they're going to be going around blowing up settlements, and it's just not going to cost you anything to go and do that, which in the long run is going to save you, a lot of money, which is really beneficial there. I also like to get the As One with Ursun and the Khan King. Just to debuff the enemy leadership in the area. There's going to be various ways where you're going to be able to offset that -8, but the -8 enemy leadership in the region is really beneficial for you. And Khan King is just really nice to get that diplomatic relations with Kislev plus 30, and the Motherland invocation cost minus 10. Now, one thing I don't like about his campaign is the fact that he doesn't play into any of the supporter actions. He's not in the race to confederate any of these. You don't get any of these bonuses here as well, I believe, since you're not in that race. But one thing that is nice, because the Chaos Waste regions provide you with more devotion as long as you hold them, so you're able to just constantly basically pop down these different invocations at will. Basically, you'll just be rolling around in devotion, in my experience, and when I've played it as Boris. And so just being able to decrease that cost a little bit will just make it a little easier on you there. But then continuing with his special skill line, I do like to grab everything in here. The weapon strength for the Warbear Riders, giving him some more bonus versus large. Band of the Brutes is good for his Zargard units. They're really tanky. They're good at holding the line. They'll be able to hold the line a little bit while your Warbear Riders do a little bit of flanking. The Great Reclaimer, good for campaign movement range. And if you end up going with the Elemental Bears in your army, giving them some regeneration there as well is pretty handy. But as you can see, we still have quite a few skill points left. I do like to grab him some Heroic Resilience if his hit points go less than 50% of the base. Gives him loads of melee, extra melee defense, but also that melee or that leadership +8 helps offset that -8 that you get as the one with Ursus there. But then mainly going down his melee line, just making him a little bit tougher. He's strictly a melee lord. He doesn't have any spells or bound spells that he can get outside of his Shard Blade ability that he can get. That isn't really the greatest to begin with. He's going to be in melee, and that's where he's going to be doing his damage. Taking out, large single entities is really kind of his thing, and he does it really well here. As you can see, once he's on his Erskine mount, his bear mount, he's got some pretty powerful melee stats. He's got Frostbite, it's going to slow the enemy down. He's got magical attack, it's going to bypass that demon physical resistance there. So he's a really good demon killing machine individually. And as you progress in your campaign, you're going to get him some items as well that are going to make him a little more tankier as well. So really good thing to grab his melee line there. After that, we got 6 points to use. You can do a lot of things with it. I don't really like the Grand Builder. It's not I'm really not a fan just personally of the local province abilities. Your legendary lords, like 99% of the time, should not be standing around doing nothing. They're going to be the ones fighting, because you want your legendary lords to get more levels so they can be as strong as they can be. And so they're not going to be sitting around. You're not going to have them kind of like Alariel is probably the only exception that I can think of, because you want her going around like buffing as many settlements as possible. You're not going to have him doing that with construction cost -10 and construction time -50 for garrison and religion buildings. It's just not going to be a thing, in my opinion. I do like to do mentor with him, just sharing that experience that he would be getting, and then just coming down his blue line a little bit, just reducing that casualty or that attrition that he's going to be suffering. You're not going to be able to go down the rest of his blue line, just like you're not going to have enough points to fill it out, which is why I just like to do the rest in Reassuring Presence again, because I haven't done a migration campaign personally, but when I did do a campaign with him, I stayed up here in the Chaos Waste, and it was just nice to be able to reduce the amount of attrition that you do take, unlike the AI seemingly taking no attrition in their campaigns. But anyway, that is how I level up Boris. Let me know down in the comments again how you guys level him up. I know there are a few different ways you could go about him, going down the rest of his blue line and that kind of thing, or not going with some of the special skills up here. But definitely let me know down in the comments what you guys think, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you're enjoying the content. And until the next video or live stream, I hope you guys have a good one, and I'll see you later. Bye.